On this episode of the Infowars News Blitz, a video states that Jade Helm is preparing for a huge war in the Middle East. Bloodstains found on top of the Georgia Guidestones, and Russian calls for a nuclear attack on Yellowstone Park. That and a lot more, so stay tuned. Okay, folks, it's the first article of the day here, and it is written by Paul Joseph Watson. It is a video, of course, as you can see before you. The article is titled Jade Helm, Preparation for Huge War in the Middle East. Underneath it says, Drill Constitutes Invasion of Iran and Syria. It is made by Paul Joseph Watson. Underneath it, it says basically, the Jade Helm exercise set to take place in 9 U.S. states this summer has prompted concerns about martial law in America. But could the real purpose behind the drill be centered around mock invasion of Iran and Syria and a huge Middle East war? Basically, I'm gonna go back up here and play the video for y'all. Here, hope you enjoy it and learn.
Jade Helm military exercise, set to take place in 9 US states this summer, has prompted concerns about preparations for martial law in America. But could the real purpose behind the drill be centered around a mock invasion of Iran and Syria and a huge Middle Eastern war? As we've exhaustively documented, these drills are clearly dual purpose, and there are plans in place to use the army in a law enforcement capacity to intern Americans during mass domestic unrest. But as Sputnik News documents today, Jade Helm seems to be geared around a much more sinister project, namely, quote, a preparation for an invasion of Iran and a Middle East-wide war. Look at this map. You'll recognize it as being from the Jade Helm exercise documents, but it's been amended slightly. The image is rotated to represent the approximate position of countries within the Middle East. So instead of Texas, Utah, and a pocket of California being represented as hostile states, the rogue nations become Iran, Syria, and Palestine, with Iraq, currently under siege by ISIS, leaning hostile. Israel, Lebanon, and Turkey in blue are friendly states. The US states are also comparable in some ways to the Middle Eastern countries they represent. New Mexico has vast swathes of desert like Iraq.
Sorry about that, folks. Well, basically, there you go. Is this for a Middle Eastern war? Is this for martial law? We don't know. We don't care. Well, we should be concerned about this. But, technically speaking, if it is just for like a martial law type of thing, I think we all need to really be worrying about this stuff and prepare for the worst. Okay, folks, this is the second article of the day here, and it is an article written by Adan Salazar. The title is called Bloodstains Found on Top of Georgia Guidestones. Underneath it says, was mysteriously occult monument used for ritualistic blood sacrifice? A drone footage appears to show bloodstains on what appears to be a slab of iconic Georgia Guidestones. The monument landmark studied by conspiracy theorists and curious people alike. And you can see there's a video here for you to watch if you want to go watch it. It says the person said that I was flying my quadcopter above the Georgia Guidestones and I found these crazy stains that looked like blood. A man from a website phenomenalpeace.com described. Very intriguing to watch because you don't see any stains on the ground. It goes on to say that basically basically, for anyone who doesn't know what the plan is, it says that basically the most startling impression appearing at the monument states, maintain humanity under 500,000 in peripheral with nature, which some believe to be proclaimed as the underveiling New World Order mass-generated depopulation agenda. And folks, this whole thing is completely bonkers, but I'll keep reading. It said, last year, the Stone mysteriously received a block of encryptions with the numbers 20 and 14, which was later removed and smashed on the ground. The man behind the video, whether the blood may have been thrown on there by vandals. Could this be some kind of vandalism? Did somebody just throw a cup of chicken blood on the ground? He asked. It's kind of possible to do that because the stones are 20 feet tall. I mean, basically, we're having a whole bunch of crazy stuff happen. I mean, blood moons almost every single day. I mean, seriously, something big is about to happen. And whatever it may be, we better keep our eyes open for this thing. I mean, just watch out. Okay, folks, this is the last article of the day here. And this one's a pretty weird one. The article is actually titled, Russian Analyst Calls for Nuclear Attack on Yellowstone National Park. Underneath it says, the consequences will be catastrophic for the United States. It was written by Paul Joseph Watson. And the article says here that a geopolitical analyst, Konstantin Kisov, God, I don't believe it. I had it and I lost it. It was Shinkov. Was it that? Yes, it was that. Shinkov has called for Moscow to launch a nuclear attack on Yellowstone National Park and the San Andreas Fault. Nothing that the devastating consequences would disappear the United States out of the country. Shinkov made a comment in a piece of Russian trade newspaper VPK News, which was translated by the Sydney Morning Herald, arguing that NATO aggression against Russia requires the complete destruction of the enemy. Shinkov went on to depict the chilling scenario. Basically, folks, sorry, I had to pick the wrong link, but basically, I'm gonna sign off here and play the video for you. Here it is.
And then I've got this report that ties into that. Well, I guess the Russians are going to start talking like that. In an address made late last week and translated by the Sydney Morning Herald, people are like in the comments going, he didn't say that, Infowars. Oh, really? We're linked to the Sydney Morning Herald. We have the transcript. There's always denial. There's not BPA making the fish asexual. Oh, really? CBS News Today. Well, what are you against that? Drink the BPA, Alex. Do it or you're a homophobe. Russian analyst calls for nuclear attack on Yellowstone National Park. The consequences will be catastrophic for the United States. Russian geopolitical analyst, how do you pronounce that? I know this guy's an advisor to Putin. Konstantin Shivkov,
I believe so,
has called for Moscow to launch a nuclear attack on Yellowstone National Park and the San Andreas Fault Line, noting that the devastating consequences would disappear the United States as a country. Shivkov made the comments in a piece for Russian trade newspaper VPK News, which was translated by the Sydney Morning Herald. He's also made similar statements and speeches, arguing that NATO aggression against Russia required the complete destruction of the enemy.
Well, there you go, folks. As this is a joke level. And to be honest with you, I believe he's right. I mean, basically, when that general said that, Russia said, oh, you want to say that? Alright, fine. We too can play this game. Well, that's all the articles I have for you today. If you have any more about these articles, please go to the link below or go to Infowars.com or PrisoPad.com. There you can find hundreds of articles like this one I have read for you today. This is the Infowars News Blitz. I'm your Gundam. Live on free range number 3. Please like, subscribe, and donate. Bye-bye.